5 bipartisan co-sponsors of the NSA Amendment. Congressman, thanks for coming on this morning.
It's a pleasure. Good morning.
Well, I want to start with the bill itself. Was there, as I know that the NSA was lobbying personally, Keith Alexander was on the floor. You had the National Director of Intelligence lobbying members of Congress to defeat this amendment. Did any of the case that they were making resonate with you at all?
Well, you expect there to be this kind of national security establishment lockdown on something like this. Of course, these folks would like access to all the information in the world. It's not their job to strike that balance between liberties and securities. It's ours. It's the American people's. Their job is to keep us safe. They'd love to have every piece of information about everything that everybody does. All we were saying with this amendment is this should be about people who are targets of investigation. Why are we stockpiling at the NSA your calls, my calls, everybody else's information? It should just be actual subjects of terrorist investigations.
Is there any middle ground for you on this, right? You know, look, the things got heated on the floor and this back and forth. So the NSA will argue they need this database, that having that database speeds up when there is a target. Is there a way of publicly assuring they don't look at the database that if the law was changed in some way would make you more comfortable? Is there middle ground here? I'm just curious.
There is. The way that it's been reported, our European allies do it, and frankly there's a strong argument to be made that information should be kept so we can trace it back when there are subjects of investigation. Frankly, I think this amendment was the middle ground. It allowed the FISA courts to order the retention of materials for investigations. In addition, we could require that the companies maintain it in easily accessible databases to the NSA. When the NSA would have a FISA court order, they could go in and get the information quickly. There's no question. We want to be able to connect the dots between terrorist suspects, but there's no reason in the world that should pull in every American's private information.
All right. You came 7 votes short. Seems to me it isn't going to take much for you guys to tweak this amendment and get it to pass the House. What would be the tweak that you think you're going to do? Is it what you just said? Maybe creating a part of this amendment to force the phone companies to keep this data, because that's been another reasoning explanation that the NSA has given, that the phone companies destroy these records.
I do, and I think if we had a successor program designed, and which you can't do through a appropriations amendment, which this was merely a fundings amendment, but if we can thoughtfully design a successor program that meets our national security needs but also protects our liberties, I think that would clearly put it over the top, because here we were facing this amendment through an appropriations fight, meaning a funding fight, rather than being able to create a new program that protects our liberties.
And these become a little bit a little more symbolic sometimes than the actual law itself. Polis, Democrat from Colorado, one of the 5 bipartisan co-sponsors of the bill. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
So let's go.